Logan Paul. So first off, I mentioned him in my last video just because he was an influencer that came to my mind when I was going through the scratchy white paper. And if you guys watched that video, I explained a little bit about it there, how I thought that would work and why I thought it would be important. But I wanted to deep dive because some people were in the comments like, oh, not Logan Paul, whatever. First off, I like Logan Paul. I think he's funny. He's great. Seems like a funny guy. Great marketer. I could see myself being friends with Logan Paul. His brother, not so much. His brother does all his marketing through like the cringe tactics, and that's just not my style. So, Logan, you're cool. Jake, I've got nothing against you, but I'm not a fan of the cringe. So, anyway, here's how this works out. So I think it was a little over a year ago, Logan Paul made $5 million in one day selling NFTs. And the NFTs are real simple. I'll pop them up on screen here. It's just him on a Pokemon card. It's just a digital trading card. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like a little too old for the Pokemon thing. That came like the next generation. My little brother, who's 7 years younger than I am, like got really into Pokemon. So if you're in that younger crowd, you get it. You know, you understood why those were valuable. That was kind of your era, so to mix your old, upbringing and stuff that was really relevant when you were a kid in with the new age stuff with like NFTs and making it digital, I could see how that would be pretty cool. So we made a couple different versions of them, and I'll try to post those right here. And when he gets started, he created 3,000 of these, I believe, 3,000 that were available for minting, and he sold them for like 1 ETH a piece, right? And ETH back then was like $2,000 a pop, right? So it's $2,000 per NFT. In the first day, he had already sold 2,600 of them, and he took home over $5 million in profit. Now these NFTs too, they really didn't have any utility. There was nothing special about them like you would find with like Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? With Bored Ape Yacht Club, you get like the banana tokens or whatever each day. You also have access to the yacht party and all the celebrities and everybody that are on that list. Private discords and all that type of stuff. So there's some utility around it, and there's a reason that people want to purchase those and hold them. With these initial ones that he had for the Pokemon cards, I don't think there was really much utility behind them, but the NFT market was hot. It was just getting going. So it was a perfect time for him to launch stuff like that. So how did he sell 2,600 NFTs in a day? The answer is reach and influence. And that's why they call them influencers, right? They call influencers for a reason. That's why top brands all around the country rely on influencer marketing to push products, help get eyes on their brand. They want to tell a story, and it's much easier if someone else tells it for them than a brand just trying to pump their content down your throat. So what they do is utilize influencers, which are real people, to wear the clothes, to use the products, to promote this or that. That way you can see a real human up there on the screen using the actual products or services. You can see how that person kind of resembles you in some sort of way or another. And then you end up buying the product and using it. So it's a really clever marketing tactic, and that's why influencers are thriving in this current day and age, right? So like I said, at that time, the NFT market was just blowing up. Everything was getting super hot. That was, I think, just a little bit before, maybe right after Beeple sold his like $70 million NFT. And a lot of those in the beginning, they didn't really have much utility. That wasn't really a thing yet. You just had to create something that was cool, and it had to have a perceived future value that was higher than it is right now. Not much different than, buying shit coins, but along with it, you got this cool art that you could, trade off later. So fast forward today, and the NFT market slowed way down, right? partially because crypto just took a major hit. So when there's less capital out there moving around, people are being a little more conservative and they're not really gambling on, NFTs. Same with DeFi projects, right? A lot of people have backed out of the DeFi projects. They're holding their little eggs close to home. They don't want any of them to break. They're being real conservative with their funds, right? Another thing that happened is new investors, they just got wiser. They want utility now. Hey, if I'm going to buy an NFT, what will it provide me in the future? You can't just count on every NFT to just be worth more a little bit down the road. I think with the craze and the hype when everything was going up, you could quickly flip NFTs and make a good amount of money. Now people are way more selective about their projects because they've been burnt a handful of times. So when all that was upcoming and NFTs were really taking off, influencers, rappers, pro athletes, you name it, they were all trying to get involved with projects. So they'd have to find a developer out there, a team that was working on it, or they'd get contacted by somebody, and they'd have to find a project that was actually offering real utility, especially like right now. Right now, if a pro athlete wants to be involved in a project, they got to be really selective. They got to do a lot of homework. They got to try to get with a good team, right? Because here's the thing, they don't know anything. That rapper, that influencer, that pro athlete knows absolutely nothing about the blockchain, smart contracts, nothing. So most NFT projects, as you guys probably know, are rug pulls anyway. So one of these big names gets involved with an NFT project. It seems like everything's going really well, and then the developers pull the rug. That celebrity has no idea what's going on. They've got no way to recover the funds. They're not an expert in the blockchain, and now their good name is attached to that rug pull. So for those celebrities, it just doesn't seem like it's worth it anymore, right? True story, I got involved in a project a while back, and one of the people that was involved with it was Rick Ross. So he was really promoting and everything was going really well, and then essentially it was a rug pull. The developers walked away, prices plummeted, and it ended up just being a lame project overall. There's still some people out there that have taken it over, try to revive it, but I'm pretty sure Rick Ross is no longer involved and no longer trying to promote it, and now his name is stuck to that. So you got to imagine that the risk is just not worth it, right? The risk-reward ratio for these guys to be able to make some quick money when they're really already making millions or whatever. The NFT world is just a lot more risky, so why do that? Why put themselves on the line, put their name on the line, try to make sure they're working with an honest dev, build out a whole team, promote the project, and hopefully they make money when most of those projects are rug pulls. So the risk isn't worth it to them. But here comes Scratchy. Scratchy can replace the revenue and replace the need for them to go out and try to do an NFT. All these big names, they want to leverage their name to make money. They do it through getting endorsement deals. They make TV appearances. They're doing commercials, everything. Anything to leverage their name to make money, which makes sense. If you got some fame and fortune, leverage that while you can, while you're relevant, make a bunch of money, and then at some point down the road, you're not going to be relevant anymore, but you'll have 15 apartment buildings. So it makes sense they want to leverage it, and they want to leverage it in the digital world. NFTs are kind of on their way out from that perspective. So how about you replace that with Scratchy? Almost all of the risk goes away, right? These are pre-coded. It's all smart contracts. All they've got to do is reach out and say, hey, Forex, I want to white label your service for Logan Paul. I want the Logan Paul Scratchies out there. And I'd even like to make some for my dumb little brother. What do I got to do? Forex says, okay, all we need to do really is get your white label services set up. And I'm sure there's some fee that's attached to that just to get through the process and get everything connected. And then Logan Paul just needs to do what he's always done. He just self-promotes his project, pumps it out there, and then he gets to keep the profits. He's got a wallet that all the profits go to, and he basically has to do none of the back end work, just the front end work, which he's amazingly good at, which is just promoting and influencing and spreading it out to his team. So he gets to use his name and influence with basically no risk, and it's just all profit. And Logan Paul has millions of degenerates who would love gambling for B&B. They do all his contests rather. You know, they'd be creating social media content, posting it on Reels, TikToks, making their own YouTube videos. And then by them putting all that information out there, the search algorithms would go up. People would buy more of his tickets, and he could make a ton of money into perpetuity off this. Now, Logan Paul's just one good example, right? He's a YouTuber turned influencer that has done really well for himself, and he's amazing at marketing. And he has kind of the niche of people, late 20s, early 30s, pretty risk averse, or I should say their appetite for risk is fairly high. They'd be down to buy some scratch-off tickets. And people that would just like and share his content, and it would spread like wildfire. But any celebrity could get on board with this. So there's a ton of celebrities, ton of athletes, ton of artists, everybody who tried and failed to do an NFT project over the last 18 months. So is this headline real? Not yet, but I could see it becoming a reality. Like Logan Paul said, Scratchy freaking changed the game. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Happy investing.